What was the most fucked up thing to come out in stores that's now discontinued?
I guess radium jewelry that glowed in the dark and gave people terminal cancer.
Many shoe stores used to have fluoroscope X-ray machines for customers to see how well their foot fit into the shoe they were trying on. They were often unshielded and were highly radioactive.
I watched some YouTube series about things in the home that could kill you throughout history, and apparently when electricity started being commonplace in homes, nothing was yet regulated and inventors went absolutely buck-fucking wild with the products they put out. The series specifically mentioned a tablecloth with uninsulated electric mesh wiring running through the entire thing which you could plug in, and no, this was not designed to be a heated blanket. It was sold alongside other electrical accessories you could just plug right into the tablecloth by stabbing the prongs through the fabric and the mesh wiring. This obviously resulted in electrocution and fires.
There was a product called the worm getter in the 80s, basically a rod that shocked the ground outside your house that for some reason caused worms to come out of the ground so you didn't have to buy them yourself. Yet there was about 30 deaths attributed to this thing from people shocking themselves, and it was recalled.
Fake snow made from asbestos.
There was a doll with an eating function that ended up eating young girls' hair. The seller also failed to include how to turn off the doll in the instructions, so you can imagine the horror stories that went down because of that.
The Radia Beauty Cream contains thorium and radium.
During the First World War, department stores, including Harrods, sold kits containing syringes, needles, and tubes of cocaine and heroin. It was promoted as a present for friends on the front line, shoot up to make life in the trenches more bearable and alleviate the horrors of war.
The whole reason that tampons today have warnings about toxic shock syndrome was because of a brand of tampons back in the 70s that were designed to be put in and left in for your entire cycle, which of course made them breeding grounds for all kinds of nasty bacteria. Needless to say, they don't make those anymore.
My grandfather had a kit for kids to make their own lead soldiers. It came with the molds for the soldiers, a bunch of ingots of lead, and a cooking pot to melt the lead in. Then the child could pour the molten lead into the mold, wait for it to cool, then play with their new toy. What fun!
I used to work at a toy store 20 years ago. There was a hard plastic Digimon character, Tsunamon, piggy bank that had a large blade-like horn on his head. The blade was surprisingly pointed/firm, and the large body meant that it would usually point upwards if left on the ground, waiting for some clumsy child to impale themselves on it. We used to jab other coworkers with it until it made number 1 on the list of the most dangerous toys made that year. After seeing that article, we put it on a long stick and jabbed each other from a distance. Safety first.
A boating raft that flies behind the boat, think 20 foot in the air. The year I bought a boat, they were the newest thing with a big video in the store on a big screen TV. I wanted one, but my wife said hell no. Our kids were about 8 and 11 at the time. The next spring I went in, and they were nowhere to be found, and I asked the salesperson about them. She said they were recalled due to injuries. What a shock! They still looked fun as hell.
Diet pills from Sears Catalogue in the early 1900s. The first pill was a tapeworm egg. The second pill was a drug to kill the tapeworm. You'd take it when you reached your desired weight.
AIDS. It was a diet candy that became popular shortly before HIV became widely known. Their slogan was "Get Slim with AIDS." One executive refused to change the name of the company, saying something like, "We had the name first, why can't they change the name of the disease?" Edited for errors.
Anyone remember those twist braid machines for kids? You'd stick 2 strands of hair, stick one in each prong, and press the button. It'd twist the individual strands, then twist them together, and you'd use those bead clips to hold the braid together. Friends and I lost a lot of hair in those days. Edit, holy shit y'all. I expected my comment to be buried in the mass of comments. I never expected to have one of the top 10 here, nor to get any awards. Thanks y'all.
As a UK schoolboy, trips to France were an excuse to buy explosives. I don't know if they still sell them or not, but bangers as we called them were like little sticks of explosives where you lit the fuse and retired to a safe distance. All the souvenir shops sold them. They came in different sizes and strengths. Once you got your bangers home, you blew up as much stuff as you could. Apples still on the tree were good. Toys were fun too. The more fucked up kids would explode live frogs, etc. This was in the 1980s.
There was that vibrating Harry Potter broom for kids.
There was a water gun toy that was voice activated. You would say fire, like you're shooting a gun, and then it would shoot water. Cue a number of false fire alarms, because kids are running around screaming fire 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 at the top of their lungs.
Does the original for loco count?
Amphetamines used to be used as an appetite suppressant. I mean, they worked. Edit, according to lots of folks replying, amphetamines are still used for this sort of thing. At least they are in the USA, I'm not sure about other nations.
How about that cactus that sang 3 songs in different languages and one of the songs used was a real rap song about drugs and cocaine? Edit, link to singing druggy cactus toy.
That dyed ketchup. They had to put so much dye in it that they legally couldn't call it tomato ketchup. If I remember correctly, it had a silly name too, like CRAZ Easy Squirts. Edit, sorry about the misremembering of the original name. Apparently, it returned porn on searches. Look up Heinz Easy Squirt if you are interested. You can still get green ketchup if it is available in your area. Not sure about the other colors.
Wow. Chips containing olestra, which caused anal leakage.
The liquid bath soaps with plastic microbeads in them. A literal environmental disaster in a bottle.
I remember when you could buy that weird synthetic marijuana stuff in gas stations. It was right by the register. Apparently that stuff is crazy bad for you, and basically turns you into a zombie.
Oh baby, just look up band toys from the 50s. For EXP super elastic bubble plastic. Make bubbles from the toxic goop you blow into.
I think my personal favorite was the Atomic Energy Lab, a children's toy that came with actual U-238 and the tools to measure it. The kit also had instructions for how to prospect for uranium ore in your own backyard.
Lawn darts. These were a lot of fun, but were also just a terrible accident waiting to happen. Plastic fins and body with a weighted pointy metal tip. I can remember older kids whipping them at the schoolyard fence to see how deep they could go into the 2-inch by 12-inch pressure-treated fence planks.
That fairy wand for kids that had a grotesque image of a girl smiling with the arm blurred.
Aqueducts, beads and glue to make little art pieces. Some coated in GHB/GBL.